Yeah, obviously very competitive game. Defensively we just aren't where we need to be. One of the things we talked about going into this game is if we win by 20, you can't overreact. If we lose by 20, you can't overreact. So you can't overreact to one result. Obviously, we play the game to win the game, and disappointed that we weren't able to come out and beat a good but a shorthanded Oklahoma State team. They had a couple guys missing out of the rotation, which allowed those guards to play extended minutes and really go out there and perform. We talked about in the scouting report, we get to, their guards are the one group that can beat us. And we as coaches did a really bad job of taking the ball out of their hands. That's 100% on me. That's 100% on our staff. We had a really bad game plan, and that's on us. We thought keeping them on the side of the floor and impacting it would be good enough, but it wasn't. They were really quick and they were able to get downhill. Didn't do a great job of guarding their strong hands. They were all really good left-hand drivers, and they got down left every single time. So we got to do a better job of drilling, giving more help defensively, but also like when they had ball screens, we should have been blitzing those ball screens every single time, and we didn't. So that's 100% on me and on the staff. So we didn't have our guys prepared defensively to come out here and execute. Offensively, we shot 49 free throws. So we got to the foul line. We did a good job. We missed 14. So we got to do a better job spending more time shooting free throws in practice because obviously we didn't execute. We didn't have a little more discipline offensively. We took a lot of hush shots. And what hush shots are is shots without rebounding position. And what that leads to is transition. And they had 35 points in transition on shots that, we didn't have a rebounder to bail us out if we do miss the shot. I thought we had a lot of really good looks. I mean, Tahad goes 4 for 16, and I think he took 2 hush shots the whole time. If he has 14 looks, and he misses 10, sometimes that's just going to happen. But the rest of the guys have to pick up the slack when that happens. Keyshawn Hall obviously, shows what he's capable of. He put us on his back late and did a really good job. There were some bright spots there. Our bench has got to do a better job, of contributing when they get in. But, kind of what we expected coming into the game. I didn't think their guards would be as good as they were. But, it's a talented group, and, it's a group that obviously has improved from a year ago.
Assuming you guys were down 11 in the first half, down 7 in the late in the second half, down 5 in overtime, fought back for all of this. I know you got a lot of work on for us, but the fight from your guys, a new roster, how much you like
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the one thing we talked about that's encouraging is we talk about dealing with adversity. Every time we dealt with adversity, we didn't panic and we ended up climbing back into the game. The problem is then when we got tied or we got to within one, we would make an undisciplined play. We'd foul a three-point shooter. We'd have a lane violation. We wouldn't have the right foot up when we were guarding a guy and let him just drive it left downhill. When we got it tight, we didn't panic, but we broke down too many times. And I think that's something that, as this group grows and learns together, they're going to continue to get better. It's a group of 10 new guys, so they're all still trying to figure out, how to play with each other. All right. And we just didn't do a very good job of offering any help. We were hugged up to our men every single time, and they were just allowed to just drive the lane and make plays at will.
Anything right away on Murph? I mean, I know that it was pretty quick.
Nothing, I haven't talked to Clark yet, but, we'll obviously evaluate him over the next couple of days and kind of see where he's at. But I think, I'm not sure. I don't want to comment on it because I really don't know the severity of it. But hopefully we get back to Auburn and, he's okay.
Freeman, talk about Freeman a little bit. He looked like he got more comfortable literally within the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, Elijah, kind of let the game come to him in a few spots, but he also forced a few things, which is, we expect that in these situations. It's really good to kind of let them play and play through mistakes, and it's going to be a great film to watch. We're going to be able to learn a ton from the film. He has some special. He had 3 assists, no turnovers, so putting the ball in his hands was a positive thing. Missed his first 3 free throws, but then he made his last 5. So, all really positive stuff. His biggest thing and his biggest adjustment coming to the SEC and to high major basketball is finishing through contact around the rim. He was 4 for 10 from 2. He's a much better 2-point finisher than that. I think he's just got to get used to the flow of the game and just finishing through contact, not looking for the whistle as much. But obviously he's got, a lot of things that we really love about him. And, defensively, he makes some things happen that not a lot of our guys can. But, I think it's just, for him, just takes time to kind of get comfortable in the system and, with his teammates.
First college action for Sebastian. Looks like he had a really good start, especially just what you see out of him kind of impacting somebody every time.
Yeah, I mean, he plays so hard. and does a lot of the little things really well. He's a guy that we trust to play multiple positions. Doesn't really turn the ball over. Had 9 rebounds. Was our leading rebounder. 4 offensive rebounds. We had 17 offensive rebounds as a team. So that's a bright spot right there. But if you look in the second half, we didn't finish possessions. I think they had 4 offensive rebounds at half. They may have gotten close to like 40-something% of their misses back in the second half. So we did a really bad job in the second half of finishing possessions. So we gotta continue to drill that as a staff, and we got to get better. But Sebastian, he's a guy that's going to play a lot for us and is going to be important for us. And I thought he showed some really good minutes tonight.
That final shot, was it meant for Freeman to take it, or was it kind of like a busted play?
We were trying to get Keyshawn Hall on a post up. Okay, so he was the third option on the play. They did a really good job of having he did a good job at denying the ball in the post. We probably should have put some more size taking the ball out. Having Tahad take the ball out probably wasn't a great call by me. Probably should have had somebody with a little more size to be able to throw that ball inside. So that's on me. I got to do a better job. I was trying to get a good passer in there to obviously throw the ball in, but looking back on it, probably should have had KO or somebody with a little more size throwing it in to get Keyshawn the ball, because we ran multiple possessions of getting him a post up, and as you saw, he scored every single time. So that was what the play was, and at the very end, Elijah, that was more of a breakdown.
Hey, can you just talk about the atmosphere tonight?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, they did a great job putting this event on, and obviously, I want to thank all the fans that came out. Obviously, I'm sure they're disappointed leaving with a loss. Trust me, no one's more disappointed than I am. But that's why we play, these scrimmages. We play really good quality opponents to really learn what we have and, what we got to build on. We have 2 weeks now to grow and get better and get ready for a Memphis team who's really talented and really good. And, if we guard like that against Memphis, it's going to be a different outcome. So we got to do a much better job of locking into the details and just, continue to build and continue to grow. A lot of positives that can come out of this, but at the same time, as we figured, we learned a lot about our team. But I think one of the encouraging things is there's a lot of things that are controllable, a lot of things that we can fix. But the fans gave us a great advantage and gave us a boost of life. Anytime we got down, they got back into the game. I thought our guys did a great job of responding. But appreciate everybody coming out and supporting these guys, and I know they do as well.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, thanks guys.